Hello guys, my name is Orest. I am from Ukraine, but at this very moment visiting Romania, the country which is supporting our country a lot during those turbulent times. And I must say, I am impressed with the speed of development of Romania, the country which was considered for many decades to be a very impoverished state. However, now what I see, they're doing a great job and resemble a beautiful inspiration for Ukraine towards the reforms of liberty and economic prosperity. In this video, I would like to touch very sensitive topics of reforms happened in Romania and what made it possible for the country of such rapid development. And we start in the very symbolical place, at least for me. This is the main square of Sibiu, one of the most beautiful Romanian cities, which became the cultural and tourist center, not only of this part of Romania, but entire Eastern Europe. My lovely wife Marta is going to be with us. And Marta, I want to show you some very important location. I remember this fountain where actually I stayed all the way back in 2007. So let me come close. I'm going to show you the location and then we'll develop the story. There I stand at 15 years ago, guys. Can't believe it. Here. Wow, the time is going really fast. So I remember that moment very well. It was winter of 2007. I was part of a small group of our students of law faculty, and we were coming to Cluj-Napoca. It's a city north of here, to participate in council debates, yes, for law students on the international scale. And afterwards we traveled around and visiting a few different areas in Transylvania, which is part of Romania, as you know, here in the center of the country. This town, this Sibiu, really strikes me with this architectural beauty, with masterpieces, how it is designed. Yeah, it was one of my best memories from Romania, and since then I can tell you a lot have been changed in Romania. I noticed this while traveling around the country. It became much more refurbished. Everything looks nice. And another thing what I want you to tell is that Sibiu in 2007 got the name, the place to become the European capital of culture. Another connection, because my native city Lviv in Western Ukraine is also very heavily culturally influenced city. So I really hope that with this support of the world that we are attracting at the moment, Ukraine will be integrated much more densely into all the movements we have in the entire world. And this is already the first sign of this support. You see that just in front of the main museum of town we have, this is the art museum, yes. Right? The art museum, we have a poster, "Stand with Ukraine" hashtag, and "Alaturi de Ucrania," which probably means the same in Romanian. Support Ukraine, don't let us down, because we are fighting not only for ourselves but also for the entire free world. Marta, see you soon. My wife is going to look for some of her, I don't know, some small shopping stuff that I don't really know exactly what she's looking for. And in the meantime, we will go to check out a little bit of Sibiu around. This is actually one of the largest medieval squares in Europe. And what's interesting here is that how one square is very elegantly connects to another one, yeah? All is pedestrian-friendly area, very welcoming for people to walk around. It's a weekend, people just enjoy, yes? And look at this beautiful architecture. I'm not sure if you're aware in the Romanian architecture, Romanian traditions, but in those areas here in central part of the country, in southern Transylvania, a lot of settlements have been developed during the late medieval times by Saxon merchants that came here from the present day area of Germany. And like really, if you visit some of the Bavarian or Swabian towns, yes, in central and southern Germany, you will really associate the structure of the town with the way it is designed here, which is a good sign for all the travelers who want to come to Romania, because this is the country where you can explore really a lot. For me personally, Romania is one of the most interesting and probably underrated countries in the entire Europe. First of all, it has a pretty understandable shape, yeah, so it's kind of easy to move around, and each part of the country has their own distinct feel. So for example, now we are in Transylvania, obviously the area that you heard a lot about. Then there is Wallachia in the south, there is Marmuresh area in the north, Banat in the west, Moldova in the east, and so on. So it's just enough to travel a couple of 100 kilometers in either direction once you immerse yourself into a completely different and unique atmosphere. So just by walking here, I'm already experiencing a lot of joy, guys. Especially knowing that my own country is at war, but I want to remind you that I'm here not for the recreational reasons. I just came back from Poland, where I bought a van for the orphanage in Ukraine. It is now being shipped across the border to Ukraine, and I continue south to set on a humanitarian trip where I'm going to do some meetings in Bucharest, then I go to Bulgaria, then Croatia, and so on, because my part is representation. I connect all the dots between international organizations who are willing to help and support Ukraine. So if you represent one of those, please feel free to contact me. I just found some kind of gate and really steep staircase going down, which actually shows that there is a lower part of the city. We can hear some foreign languages. There were some French group, and this is actually one of the most iconic places in Sibiu, because as I told, it connects the lower town with the upper town up there. So let's walk down, let's see what happens down there. This area is so rich, for not only for architecture, not only for history, but also, guys, for local culture and amazing landscapes. You probably know that Transylvania is one of the most famous historical and cultural areas of Romania, but on this trip we are going to travel also south to Bucharest, to modern cosmopolitan capital of Romania, and also travel through the southern portion of the country, which is Wallachia. So we will have what to compare, yes, within this trip. And the most juicy part, I would say, will be the mountain road of Transfagarash highway, actually connecting Transylvania in the north and Wallachia in the south. So please stay with me, watch this video till the end, hope it will be interesting, and obviously subscribe to my channel if you didn't do so before. In the meantime, let's look for Marta and continue our trip. Sibiu is situated at the foothills of the Carpathian Mountains that actually surround the core of Transylvania, and in the area around you can see a lot of nice villages. Here is a great example of a tranquil Transylvanian village with a nice, very typical architecture for this size. Very close to Sibiu, just like 10 kilometers. Beautiful, yeah? Actually, those are the same Carpathian Mountains that scratch Ukraine. To be precise, its western part, not far from Lviv, just 1 hour drive south of my native city. And in general, Carpathians are the second largest mountain complex, mountain range after Alps, starting all the way in the west near Vienna, going through Poland, Slovakia, Ukraine, Romania, and then reaching as far south as Serbia. So also feels connection back to home through the mountains here. And even here in such areas they continue building the road. Wow, to tell the truth, I'm impressed with the speed how they are building infrastructure here, and it's definitely very respected for Romanians that they are making a great job. This is where the highway will go all the way there, crossing the mountains and going south to Bucharest. So actually we are reaching these foothills, and somewhere there the famous Transfagarash highway is going through the mountains. So that's our next stop, our next location, and tomorrow we'll take you up there. So we found a nice place just at the foothills of the Transfagarash highway, a guest house which is actually owned by Moldavian family. Mrs. Maya and her husband invited us for this nice dinner. Really, they are supporting Ukraine this matter, and even now, especially for us, they turned on the Ukrainian music. Listen. Okay, thank you. Будьмо.
Дай Бог.
Слава Україні.
Слава Україні!
Слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Such a beautiful place at the foothills, and tomorrow we are going there. Like really feeling very lucky by occasion coming here. They invited us very well, guys. So if you'll be traveling on the Transfagarash here in Romania, remember Casa Maya, very good spot. Good morning, sweetie. Are you ready for Transfagarashan mountain road?
Always ready. I'm only regretting that we don't have enough time here because it's so beautiful, so nice.
It's amazing. The weather is perfect, really encouraging, and we guys set on the road, going all the way up there, reaching 2,000 meters. Let's go. So we are slowly but surely approaching the main mountain pass, and it's worth to say a few words about this road. So during the early 70s of the 20th century, back then the former dictator of Romania, Nicolae Ceausescu, decided to develop a road which will cross the Carpathian Mountains. There were a few mountain passes before, but seeing the suppressing of uprising in Prague by the Soviet army in 1968, he thought, okay, we should develop a few evacuation routes or a few logistical points in case Soviet invasion to Romania. And since the mountain passes that were going through the valleys, usually through the Carpathian Mountains, connecting Transylvania in the north and Wallachia in the south, those roads in the valleys were very easy to block, to take under control. So the decision was to pave an amazing highway through the upper part of the Carpathian Mountains. That's actually where we are going, and the altitude all the way up there should be over 2,000 meters. The name of it is Transfagarash, meaning the road is going through the Fagarash mountains, which are actually the highest portion of southern Carpathians here, with the dominating Moldovianu peak. Let's go up. From a military purpose, lately this road turned into one of the most famous travel attractions in Romania. However, it is one of the most picturesque mountain passes in the world. I can assure you, because I've been to over than 120 countries, and really like staying here, I'm simply impressed. People are enjoying this amazing scenery, and just take a look how many curves are there, like simply countless, and we are not even reaching the highest portion of it. On the highest point of the road there is a tunnel which is piercing the main Carpathian spine, and we are actually going on the southern portion of their slopes. So we are in the middle of the mountains now. It's much more snowy, and it's important to tell that this road is actually during most of the year is unpassable. Only for a couple of months it's possible to go here, and I already tried to travel here twice without any luck because of the weather conditions or too much of the snow cover. However, now, as we can see, it's possible. So just keep in mind, if you'll be planning a trip over here, that it's possible to go only between July and October. That's it. Did you notice that the southern slopes of the mountains that we are going now are more gentle than the northern part?
Yes, and it's more green, I believe. And you can see the perspective of the mountains really more far.
So now we are going down, and we'll actually reach another cultural area of Romania which calls Wallachia. Let's go, once we are finishing with the soup. Oh, look at him, he just sat over here. That was I expected.
Hello.
Romania is full of bears, wild bears.
Orest, he's looking at us. Don't move, please. It's scary.
Wow.
Oh,
Beautiful.
that would be really scary to be without a car, right?
Yeah, for a bicycle, can you believe it?
It looks like he's a small one. Is it possible that it's not adult?
I don't know.
Bye bye.
The bear looked pretty skinny, no?
After the winter, probably.
Correct.
They
After.
need some time to gain their weight, eating berries or wherever they eat more. So it's just starting the season. The summer is just starting here, deep in the mountains.
And also it's important to tell that Romania probably has the largest population of bears in Europe. So the chance to spot one of those beautiful animals here is very high. Wow, this is huge. This is like a real brown bear.
Yes. Somebody gave him some bread. I'm not sure it's a good idea. I don't think so. But he was expecting, probably, because he was standing on the road, not afraid of people.
another one with kids. You can see from here, but over there. Oh, she's also waiting for some food from people, probably.
I'm just curious how many more bears are going to see tonight.
Tonight?
Today.
Today. At night time it's scary
Oh
to see
yeah,
a bear.
definitely.
With that like flashy eyes.
Okay, let's go. Finally in the lowlands, and this is actually Wallachia, one of the traditional and cultural areas of Romania. Wallachia is considered to be, the heartland of modern Romanian culture, and for much of its history it was under Turkish occupation during the Ottoman period, so it differs a lot in architecture, even in the way of life, with the northern part, which is Transylvania, that has more European influence. And this is the beauty what you experience in travel. You see with these landscapes, with the structure of the towns, it has even more of this kind of Balkan feel over here. Now we are passing by one town, and I can see clearly former Turkish architecture with this building. Let's see what is the center. Oh yeah, look at this. So interesting. It reminds me some neighborhoods of Istanbul, Marta, right? Osman Empire, in fact, was controlling those territories in southern Romania for a couple of centuries, and definitely reflects on the local atmosphere here now at the moment. And it also confirms to us that by learning the history, you can understand the present and even project a future in many cases. And this town, Pitești, already looks pretty Soviet, very familiar for us in Ukraine, and also reminds us about the communist past of this country. However, as you can see in this video, Romania is making a steady, nice progress towards the free market economy, and I'm definitely sure that the future will be prosperous for this country. So at the moment we are reaching the highway, going straight to Bucharest, to the capital of Romania. And in 2 hours we're gonna be there, which will mark another chapter in this video. Let's go! Here we are, Bucharest, big city with big traffic. I read somewhere that Bucharest is one of the most congested capitals in the European Union, so I start feeling this now actually. It takes 1 hour to cross only 20 kilometers through the city. You might be wondering, what the heck was that? Well guys, you might be wondering, but that's one of the largest building in the world by floor area. At the moment this serves as the parliament building of Romania. However, it's a former Ceausescu palace, like the building where the former dictator of Romania was serving from, and those are the toys that usually dictators like. The huge scale, absolutely absurd, but that's how things work for them. using the chance of being in Bucharest, obviously I could not simply stay away from the classic landmarks of this town in order to explore them and understand the feel of the city better. And I must say I am impressed in a good way with a combination of old and new in Bucharest. The scale is larger of the older area than I thought, and in general it's a beautiful city just to explore, seeing all the historical layers of town, starting from the Middle Ages, then during the Ottoman Empire, then a national period of Romanian independence in the 19th century, and eventually the latest time of our history. This is the University Square, and it is a very symbolical place in Bucharest and entire Romania. So during the fall of communism, most of the riots, protests actually happened down here back in 1989. This square also has a namesake, Kilometer Zero of Democracy, because all of the recent liberal ideas, movements in modern Romania started here, and in later years, if there are some manifestations, they also take place at this very square near the university. Hey Lucian, nice to see you.
Hey man.
Eventually we met live
after many years.
Absolutely. So as a digital nomad that's seen the world, what can you say how Romania is doing now? Like it's developing in recent years?
It's been developing a lot, and the economy has grown. Of course, nobody knows what will happen in the future with you know, the global pressure, economic pressure, and the war nearby. But the fact is that now the capital city, Bucharest, is one of the most developed capitals in Eastern Europe and Central and Eastern Europe. And the purchasing power parity right now in Bucharest is very close to the one from, for example, Stockholm, Berlin, Rome. So this means people basically live much better, especially after things have started to change a lot after Romania joined the EU in 2007. The same thing that actually Ukraine aspires to do in the future. The city it's been growing population-wise as well, because now there are probably more than 3 million people here. And yes, many companies have relocated here, many companies are investing here. The real estate market has grown a lot. The prices of the apartments have increased by 50% in the last 2 years, which is a lot. Yeah, I mean, more and more people are moving in, actually. This is the trend. And you can see more and more foreigners actually working, taking jobs here, because there's a kind of a deficit here, personal deficit of people who, you know, for example, people that need to do like the basic jobs. You don't find like people who are, they're needed people in the construction sector, in the restaurants, in hospitality.
Okay, well done, and keep doing the good work, Romania.
Let's do it together, because you know, we're the world and we're in this together actually, and we should actually stay in peace and live in peace. But let's see what the future will bring, because politics and people are sometimes and many times two different things.
The time in Romania is going very, very fast. There are many events, and I'm super grateful to all the people I managed to meet here. It's super important to stay with Ukraine, at least mentally, because we understand that this fight is not finished yet. I've seen how the society in Romania is really supporting Ukraine in all different matters, and this really puts the perspective for us that we have somebody to count on, because people in Romania experienced this tragic part of their pages in the history, the same as Ukraine was experiencing, and unfortunately we are going through now. So I'm looking forward that we are going to continue our cooperation, that Ukraine will continue resisting, and very soon we find each other together in the European community. See you soon and stay safe.